Today I'm talking about a plugin called the Enhancer, and what the Enhancer does is it emulates the film look. In the Enhancer, you're gonna have a lot of tools, and with those tools, you can achieve the film look result a lot more easier than with DaVinci. So here in DaVinci, I got 4 takes, and I'm gonna be doing the color grading on them, and you guys gonna come with me to see how I do my color grading on those looks. So first, I have a take here that is a little bit of like, not a little bit, a lot of green, and I have a reflector on the model. By the way, Jack, my friend, you're the model. What I like to do is to put some nodes here, and then I put the last node to the plugin, the Enhancer. Why do I have a lot of nodes and then the plugin? I could do everything on the plugin, but there are some stuff that I prefer to do on specific nodes, like maybe using the color slice to change a specific color, and maybe doing a power window and changing the exposure. So let's see, the Enhancer. On the Enhancer, we're gonna have a lot of tools, and as I'm starting to learn real color grading, I'm not an expert, and I'm not gonna be able to tell you exactly how everything works. But what I can show you guys is that even for someone who is not an expert, this is a super easy tool, and it's gonna make your colors look way better. Right here on the Enhancer, we have the input. That is where we're gonna choose our camera. So as I shoot on Sony, I'm gonna choose the camera, Sony, FX3, and then the format that I film it. You could do the color input and output outside of the plugin, but I prefer to do here because it's easier and faster. Whenever I do that, I already have my color space transformed, and then I start doing my color grading. For the color grading, I always like to turn on everything that I'm gonna use, and normally I use everything. So I'm gonna explain with you a little bit of how all those tools work and how I use them. I don't use everything, but most of it. So first off, I would change the exposure compensation, so I get a little bit more of a right exposure on the model. I like a little bit of a cooler tone, so I would come here on the temperature compensation. I'm not changing the tint here, but I could do it if I needed. After that, that's the film. Right here is where we're gonna choose exactly what film stock we are simulating. We are going with the Kodak Vision 3 250D. I think for most people, this would be the best one, because whenever you think about the film look, you have a lot of references that are like the real films that you watch on the cinema, and most of them they're shot on Kodak Vision. So I think this would be the one that you use the most, and I think you should start trying this one. But if you want to try a lot other films, you can have a lot of films here, and then you can try them. I really like the Portra 400. It's more of a photography film. It's a still film, but a lot of people use it here. It's really nice. It gives like a lot of nice skin tones. Of course, you have to deal a little bit into that. But for today, we go with the Kodak Vision 3 250D. So remember that I talked about the exposure. Right here, you can push and pull the exposure. So this is kind of like if you shot the film under or overexposed. You can change it right here, and you see that the colors, they're going to change, because in real life, whenever you under or overexpose the film, the results in colors, they're gonna be different. So I like it a little bit more here, going to under in this specific case scenario. And we're gonna go to the film developer and do a little bit of a color boost, something like 20, because 20 to 30. I really like this punch on the colors. The film compression, what this does specifically is that whenever I'm gonna turn on the waveform, so what the film compression does is that you're gonna see right here, let me bump up it a little bit. Whenever you enable it, you see that the highlights, they go a little bit down. You can see here on the whites and you can see here on the scopes, on the waveform. And if you put the impact a little bit higher, you see that it's going to change it. The amount of whites that is gonna kill. This is something that is really nice, so you don't get the whites really like blowing. And it gives you a little bit more of a compression vibe that is really normal in film. So right here you can see how much it's going to impact and where exactly on the white point is gonna be working. So if you come here, read it to 50, it almost doesn't get that. And if you start getting a little bit up, you're gonna get a little bit more of the white compressed, okay? So this is a really nice tool to have this filmic vibe. Now I'm gonna get back a little bit as I like right here. Okay, this is the compression. The expand is for you to control the black point and the white point. Normally I don't use that, but I think specifically on this take I would get the black point a little bit higher, like a little bit up. So I think over here it's really nice. The print is exactly the paper that you're gonna print the film. So normally, same thing as right here. Kodak Vision 3 250D is kind of like the standard for most of the movies and the high quality thing. The Kodak 2383 print film is kind of like the gold standard for the industry too. So this would be the thing that would get you the most used film look ever. And right here you have some ways of moving things too, so you can dial up a little bit of the exposure, a little bit of the tonal contrast, color density. That's really nice. And if you think that it's oversaturated, you can dial a little bit off. Normally I just change it here on the color boost and I really like the color. So for me that's something that's really looking good. Another thing that I do is that after all of this, of course there's some tools here that I'm not gonna talk about because I don't use them normally, like the color head. Right here you could put like a little bit of blue and yellow tint. Let me enable it. You see? And then maybe if you just want to put on the shadows, I use this, but it's like pretty rare. Whenever I want a super specific look, I can use it to get it, because sometimes I want the shadows to be a little bit more blue, a little bit more with another color. So that's where I would do that. Or I could do that outside of the enhancer. So film grain. I really like the film grain on the enhancer because there's a specific thing as the color that we put on the exposure. It's gonna change whenever you change the exposure. That's what happens on film. With the grain, it's the same thing. Whenever you're using the DaVinci grain effects, or maybe on Lightroom doing photos, whenever you put the grain, it looks like you took like a paper and you put the same amount of grain on the whole paper, and it's the same thing through all the paper, and you put it on top of that. The film grain on the enhancer, it's different because it's not like you took the paper and you put on the top of the video. It's kind of like reading the difference of levels of light through all the video, and then it's gonna mimic the film with the grain. Because if you take a look here, we have difference right here. It's lighter, right here it's darker. I'm gonna put a lot of grain so you guys can see that. And then you see that whenever you have difference with light, the grain is gonna be different. And that's something that really happens on film. And this emulation is something that is like, for me, makes the most of the difference, because you're really gonna get the real grain. And then you're gonna see that it moves and it has like a little bit of a color. Of course, you can use the film grain right here with the stocks of film. Maybe you're using a 35, a 16. Or if you really want, you can go and do custom. So you have a lot more of ways of customizing your grains. You can put more grain on the shadow, you see? Shadows going up. Maybe on the midtones. Maybe on the highlights, you want to take off some grain, put some more. So this is up to you. You can put more color, film resolution like sharper, less sharp, a lot more of film, less, bigger. So this is up to you. Normally I always use on the 35. I like the 250 and the 500. 250 is the best one for me, and then I always like to put something like 10, something like this. It's not like super grainy, but there's a little bit. And if I want to go a little bit, you know, a lot more grain, I would go 500 and something like 10, 14, something like that. It's really nice. After that, we have some other effects like halation, bloom, film damage, film breath, gate wave, overscan, vignetting, and the monitor is really nice because then you can see like false color, so you can expose for that. The ones that I use, I really love the bloom. The bloom is really nice because you can take a little bit of the digital thing off with the bloom. So just enabling that, you get a lot more of that filmic look. So same thing here. You can emulate the kinds of blooming of different kinds of film that you could be using. Halation, I like in specific kind of scenarios. I wouldn't use it here, but the thing with halation is that you have relation with and without the ring jet. Ring jet is kind of like a layer that they use it to put on the film to go against the halation. So it would be kind of like a cover to not let the halation happen. So if you take the ring jet off, so we're gonna do 35 without ring jet, you see that the effects get like stronger because you're taking the layer that protects from the halation off. So it's gonna happen easier. And it's the same thing, you can go on like custom and you have a lot more of stuff that you can change. So it looks bigger, like stronger, however you want. Normally I don't use that, but it's really nice. I like the bloom, as I said. And right here we have like some really nice stuff that can help you get like that really nice filmic vibe. Like if you want to do something super characteristic, you can go on film damage. I'm just gonna put like a lot so you guys can take a look. And then you're gonna have like those little dots that happen sometimes. Like those little dots, they are, if you put like on the 8, it's a little bit more. So right here you can see that we have a lot of this. I don't like it that much, but if you're going for like a really vintage look, that could be super nice to use. The film breath is gonna kind of like change the hue of the video. You see the hue change? This is super strong, by the way. I don't think like anyone would use like that, but that's just showing up how it works. We have the gate wave that is kind of like, I might be saying something wrong, but I think it's something like the film is going through and it's getting exposed, but the camera has a shake on that, and that's gonna shake the film. So I'm just gonna put super strong so you guys can see. You see that there's a little bit of like jelly thing. That's what the gate wave does. You see that it's shaking. Don't like that much. Overscan is the effect that you can see the borders of the film. So right here you would see like the borders, and you have a lot of customization here. You can put like 16 millimeters, and then you're gonna see like those upper part. This could be like really nice if you want to do something like super, you know, characteristic and a little bit more artistic. You see, you have you see, you have a lot of. It's really nice, but not super usable for me. And then you can change like a lot of this stuff, like exposure, the lens zoom, offset, all up to you. And then you have like the vignetting. I don't use that a lot because I do prefer to use it outside of the enhancer. So the way that I would do that color grading, it's kind of like what I did here. But besides that, I will come here maybe for like a little bit of a vignetting. I do prefer to do this on DaVinci because I think it's a little bit easier, faster, and a little bit more custom. So I could use like other masks too. And sometimes whenever I want to change a little bit of the colors, I always use this color slice that I think it matches very well with the dehancer. So you can use the dehancer to get the filmic look, but sometimes you just want to change a little bit of like, I like changing the greens. So I would go for like a deeper green, kind of like changing the yellows and a little bit of the green over here, and then a little bit of density on them. I think a little bit less to something, and a little bit more of deepness. And then I can come even here, a little bit less, and a little bit more warm. I think for me this take is like amazing. You see that? That was super easy. Like, I'm just talking with you guys and then doing that. Right now I'm gonna do some other takes a little bit faster so you guys can take a look on how it works. And of course, you can take more time, you can do it faster. It's all up to you, but whenever you start using a tool like that, you're gonna understand what you like using and what you don't like, and exactly how it works for you, because that's what matters. It's not like how I do my color grading. Of course, I can help you guys with something, but whenever you start learning, and I got this because I was a photographer, I still am, but getting into video was super hard because there's a little bit more of other variables like the sound, there's the movement of the camera, because like on the photo, I took the photo, the light is over there. If I change the movement of the camera, sometimes I'm gonna get like good lighting, bad lighting. So the color grading on the video side for me was a little bit harder because of that, and because of other stuff, like the software is super different. Like using Lightroom and using DaVinci was like, what the fuck? And then I started learning what was the good for me on DaVinci. And then okay, I like this too, I don't like that one, I like this one's better for me, for my workflow. And then that's what's gonna happen to you guys. Like whenever you have a new tool, try everything, take out what you like and leave what you don't like, you know? So for me, the answer, you could go on choose camera, Sony FX3, oops, right here. Okay, normally I just come here, film, enable, film developer, enable, film compression, enable, expand, and normally no, right here and right here. I almost always start from here, and then I just put like on 10, 8, something like that. Right here I have a footage, a look that I don't like it a lot, but that's why we start from here, and then we're gonna go fixing it. It's not that hard, so and just like try move the sliders that you're gonna get like the results that you want. I think on this scenario I would use that tool that I don't use a lot, expand, because then I can take the black point a little bit up, you see, just like that, you know. Film developer, color boost over here. I don't want to do contrast boost right now. Film compression. Okay, so right here it's really nice because then you can see like how the whites, you see, I even can take a little bit off, but that changes a lot and it gives you like the filmic vibe that it's not like, you see, that makes a lot of difference. And then color density a little bit. I want to take off a little bit of the contrast. Turn off contrast. It helps too right here, and then a little bit under. For me, I think that would be like really nice. And then for me, of course, that's how I like the greens. I always get the yellow, go all over the like 300 negatives, something like that. Density, something like minus 50, and then a little bit more of density. And a little bit of vignetting, just to get the corners a little bit more dark. That's a nice shot. After this one, we have like a, oops, sorry. After this one, we have this one. There is a little bit of like a tough situation that there's like a lot of light on the background. And then we have like a little bit of a shadow. Same thing, we go here, X709, choose camera, Sony FX3. Okay. So over here, I would like to get a little bit more of a punch. So I would come here and you're gonna start learning how the film stocks work. So I already know, because I'm using a lot of the Kodak Fusion 3 250D, that whenever I push it, I get more contrast and I get like a deeper color. If I go to the pool side, you're gonna get like a little bit more of like a wash it. You see that? It's a little bit more like warm and washed. It's not bad, but it goes to your preference, you know? And of course it depends on the shot that you have. Sometimes you're gonna have like something that is gonna look really nice, a little bit more washed. Something is gonna look really nice, a little bit more punchy, and it's up to you to choose what you like. Same thing, enable, here, linear, analog, and print. See that sometimes you're gonna go and then you're gonna turn everything on, and then you don't want that much punch over here because you don't need it, because you got from the other tools. A little bit less of the contrast, a little bit warmer and greener right here. Color boost around 20 over here, and then the impact of this I want bigger because there's like way more of the glow here. We're gonna go to the film grain around 10. The bloom over here is gonna be really nice. Looks so dreamy. And of course, you go to the other one. And then that's something that you're gonna learn, as I already said. That's what I like to do. You're gonna learn what you like to do, and then you do your way. But I think this tool is really nice for that, because it makes a little bit of a easier way of you getting getting there faster, you know. if I wanted to do this on another tool, would be like super like harder. It would take like way longer. This is so dreamy. I really like this bloom effect. Like, I already used the bloom effect from DaVinci and it doesn't look like that. So just for the effects, the grain and the bloom, I think this is super worth. And this one, that is a little bit of a different one, that is during the night. It was already colored, so I'm just gonna show you guys. I mean, this is like super nice, super easy to use, and then yeah, I don't know if I can live without that anymore. So this was it for today. I'm gonna have a discount code. If you guys wanna support the channel, you can use that. So see you guys in the next one. Just comment below what you guys wanna see. Have a nice one. Bye bye.